Go on.
Well, November 17th of the morning session, our first order. First item is pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Stephen, you want to read our mission statement today? Our mission is to graduate all students with high levels of academic and personal achievement, ready for post-secondary excellence, and prepared for productive, compassionate citizenship through research-based instruction and a collaborative system of support. Thank you. 2.0, changes or additions to the agenda today? No? All right. 3.0, presentations. We have a student leadership. Are they here today? Yes, there. Hello.
Hi, hello everyone. My name is Marianne. I'm ASB class president, and I will tell you guys what we've been doing in ASB for the last couple of weeks. So we've still been continuing the full highlights, which are basically these newsletters that just have all of the announcements and upcoming events on it, and we just post them all over the school. We have a new educational opportunity board in the Commons, and we just recently put that up. We have a club info board in the Commons now, which has all the posters of the different clubs, and it tells you like when the clubs are and where they'll be. We're getting prepared for Winter Spirit Week, so we're making the door signs for each of the teachers and like for their doors, and we're picking dress up themes soon. And that's all. Yeah.
Nice, thank you. Thanks for coming. Any questions from anybody? Wait, we're welcome to stay for the whole meeting, but if you want to speak, you're free. Yeah. 4.0 public forum. So, individuals who are on site during this portion of the board meeting, members of the public are specifically invited to present items of accommodation and or concern at the discretion of the board chair. Further public comment may be allowed at the time specific agenda items are under consideration by the board. Individuals who are viewing online, we post the upcoming agenda on our website the Friday before regularly scheduled Monday school board meetings. This will allow for public comment prior to the board meeting. Please click the tab provided to share your comments for school board to consider the upcoming meeting. Personnel matters may not be discussed in public at a school board meeting. Members of the public who have personnel concerns or accommodations should share them directly with the district superintendent. I can give a quick update about the personnel matter that's been on people's minds, I'm sure. The investigation finished. Information is provided to the district. The district is now reviewing and going to and scheduled to meet with employees. So that's where we're at right now. But we do have two people who filled out a request for comment. The first one is Kevin, if you want to stand up and speak.
Yeah, well, I'm a grandfather of kids that are in school here. I've raised 4 sons that graduated here over the years. And I've had a number of parents ask me if I would come and seek to give them some kind of an idea what the status is on this situation. But there's a lot of parents who are really concerned about the demeanor of the whole thing. It's kind of left a lot of people holding their breath. So apparently it's a mediation or something. with water involved or something.
Yeah, I can't comment specifically on it really, but
Okay.
the investigation has been completed and we're reviewing it now, or the district is not.
Okay, I know there's a number of parents that are hoping that the school district, the board will at least give us some kind of an idea that something is being done for moving forward this year. So, thank you.
And then we also have Dustin.
And so this is just, we're still here, we're still waiting to hear, we're not going away. We're not gonna have this swept under the rug, so. We'll be here until we hear something, so. Basically, same thing I said last meeting.
Thank you. 5.0, action items. 5.1, approve the consent agenda. Unless anybody has any questions about the consent agenda, I'll hear questions. I move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Been moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Passed unanimously. On to 5.2, approval of budget committee member.
Alright, so there are Oregon State budget law requires that we establish a budget committee, and we're getting out in front of it this year. So we've got our budget committee consists of 5 board members and then 5 appointed committee members. We currently have 1 open position, and we've spent the last about a month and a half getting the applications for that. And we have 1 applicant. Rich would actually like to continue in that manner, so we've got an extreme Thank you, Rich. So Rich is looking for a unanimous vote, but it's recommended the board of directors appoint Rich Streisand to the open budget committee position for a 3-year term beginning July 1st, essentially 2025, and expiring June 30th, 2028.
Any questions about Rich? No? All right, I'll hear motions.
Rich, I can say this right, President? You, the open budget committee was
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. No.
Thank you, Rich.
You're on. All right, 5.3, approve policy JOA, directory information.
Alright, so we reviewed this a couple of times, but this is a change to OARs at the state level. We reviewed it on the October 6th board regular meeting. And then also again at the October 20th was our first reading. It's recommended that tonight the board of directors adopt the policy JOA, the directory information policy.
Thank you. I know we've got over a few times. Any new questions from anyone? No. All right, I'll hear motions.
I'll move to approve policy JOA, the directory.
Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Passes unanimously. 5.4, approved policy LBEA, denial for virtual public charge school student enrollment.
And so this is another change from the State Board of Education regarding administrative rules. Same as the last one, we reviewed this first at the October 6th board meeting. I had a first reading at the October 20th board meeting, and it'll be tonight when we recommend the board of directors adopt policy LBEA as its second reading.
Right. Your motions. To approve policy LBEA. Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. 5.5, approval of policy BBEA, budget committees.
And similar to the last two, this is an administrative rule change from our State Board of Education. This one specifically is the one that has to do with the Educational Equity Committee, having a member from that committee on the budget committee. instead of actually that already happened. I think this was first reviewed at the October 6th, first reading was at the October 20th, and it's recommended the board of directors adopt policy DBA tonight.
Thank you. Questions? All right, motions? Second. Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Unanimous, and the last one, 5.6, approve policy IKF, graduation requirements.
This one was specific to change with House Bill 4137 in 2024. It really doesn't affect us a whole lot. It has to do with the International Baccalaureate program, but we'll update our type policy around graduation requirements. This was first reviewed at October 6th board meeting. Again, the first reading was at October 20th. It's recommended to the board of directors about policy IKF. Right.
Well. Right. Motions?
I'll move to approve policy IKF, graduation requirements.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Aye. Aye. Passed again, all right, on the 6.0, board calendar. There will be items on there, Jim? Any questions about anything on there? Or items that don't do?
And for the these are a couple, we've got the Billy's Got Talent show on Thursday, December 4th. That's an afternoon one beginning at 1 o'clock. There's also another showing at 6:30. It'll be in the elementary gym. PTO meeting on December 10th, Booster Club meeting on the 10th, and then fifth grade concert the evening of the 11th at 6:30, the elementary gym. Education Foundation on the 18th. 6 p.m. at the Community Center. If you're available for December.
So good, now for you, it's gonna make one of those at least. Any questions on the calendar, everybody on? No, all right. 7.0 reports and information, 7.1 elementary school report.
Hi.
Hello.
Right, attendance for this last month, we are still in the green at 94.73%. Just down 0.9% from last week, so we're still looking good. Keeping kids healthy and wanting to come to school every day. We have wonderful attendance at our parent teacher conferences. It's such an important time for our teachers to connect with families. Share our new STAR assessment system and the data we're getting from that. Which was a great tool for celebrating success and highlighting areas of growth. We are chugging on right along through the school year. It's hard to believe we're a quarter of the way through. We have begun conducting our data team meetings this year, and that's on a 6-week cycle. We do one grade level a week every Monday afternoon. And we've implemented a new agenda for these meetings, and that's helping drive our conversations around MTSS, our multi-tiered systems of support. And we're using our STAR data to really look at the best way to serve kids during that time. And having thoughtful conversations about how to serve kids in math literacy and behavior support. November is Kindness Month, and that's our character trait of the month as well. And we are highlighting students who are showing kindness at recess by giving out a special kindness buck, and then we have a kindness buck drawing at the end of every day. The most exciting piece of information that elementary students would share with you is that we have a newly installed Gaga Hall pit. Today was the inaugural day of Gaga Hall. It got installed this last weekend. Our PTO fully funded this. They put together a proposal. They worked closely with Jimmy and maintenance. The wood is from local trees and was milled by a family that donated it to us. And we spent the day, much of the day at recesses playing Gaga Hall today, and the kids are loving it. So it's really exciting to have a new event at recess. Jim shared with you some of our upcoming events, in addition to what you shared on November 25th on Tuesday. We are bringing back our community Thanksgiving lunch, where we invite families to join us. And our Heather, our cafeteria head, has also invited the local fire department to come and join us, so we have special lunch times for kids. December 1st is the 3rd through 5th grade Early Spirit Assembly. The 2nd is our kinder through 2nd Early Spirit Assembly. And like Jim shared, we've got 2 different sessions of our talent show, one on the 4th, one at 1 o'clock and one at 6:30. Our 5th grade winter concert this year is Elf. So if you're an Elf fan, come join us for that, it'll be great. And then Thursday, December 18th, is our Billy's Winter Shop, where we take donated items and our students get to purchase them with their Billy Bucks, and then they get them wrapped and get to take gifts home for their families. That's it.
Thank you.
I have a question. What's the dog about that?
It's like a combination, so it's in this corral.
Octagon.
Yes, and it is, I would say, a combination of wall ball and dodgeball from the knee down.
Oh, okay.
So students can hit a ball into each other's legs, and if you get hit, you're out, and there's a lot of skill and technique involved. And it's a fairly large octagon, and so we can play, depending on the size of the kids, about 20 to 30 kids per round, and it goes really quickly. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we can close the table.
You're welcome to come to any meeting.
We have one over at the
I know.
tennis court as well.
I can hear that about that.
And little scout project. Yeah, yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you, Brenda. 7.2, middle school report.
Hey,
Oh,
so we just wrapped up student-led conferences, which was one of our ways of trying to make sure we're implementing our learner profile. Our students had a great opportunity to practice communicating clearly, reflecting on the evidence of their learning, as well as taking responsibility for their growth. Overall participation for conferences in the middle school is actually up 71% this year compared to last year, and parents were scheduling the teachers. That was up 26% by grade level. We had 80% participation by 6th grade families, 74% 7th grade, 59% 8th grade. Sent out a survey to parents. I had 18 respondents to my survey asking about their experience. Families said that they appreciated seeing their students take ownership, explaining their work and sharing their reflections directly. At the same time, there was an expressed desire for more teacher interaction. Many parents suggested adding a brief teacher check-in or moving to a hybrid format, what we used to do in terms of the one-on-one 10-minute conferences and student-led. So we're continuing to discuss that as a staff when we move forward. Overall, there was an even split amongst respondents in terms of parents wanting to either continue with student-led conferences or going back to the way we did it before. But there were some specific suggestions to improve our structure as well as the space we hold those in. We had 9 teachers respond to a very similar survey about their experience with student-led conferences. Staff feedback was very helpful as well. They highlighted that the preparation process really helps students feel confident leading their conferences. They identified a few key areas to strengthen moving forward, like clear communication with families about the format and timing, improved coordination between the middle school and high school schedules, and a tighter organizational system so families know where teachers are, how to kind of navigate that. This is the time of my child, and then when I can interact with teachers, as teachers were available, but making sure we're clear, both parents and teachers, about how to facilitate that. Despite the challenges, teachers felt strongly that student engagement was high and collaboration was solid across the building. 8 out of 9 teachers said they preferred to move forward with student-led conferences. I think with early planning and refined communication, we'll continue to improve conferences and what they look like moving forward. In terms of attendance, 6th grade attendance stayed fairly consistent, 76% in October and 75% in November. 7th grade remains steady at 79% both months. In 8th grade, where we've seen the greatest need, we improved from 64% in October to 69% in November. And our average daily attendance is down 0.66% year to date. It's currently 93.28%. That's what I got.
You, didn't think about this for, it's just 45, you go to student rep conferences. What was the prompt for that? How come?
The first precipice was aligned to that learner profile, how can we operationalize that? So the opportunity for kids to demonstrate some of those big areas that we've identified, this is what we want from our kids. This was a perfect, this was an excellent opportunity for us to actually embrace that and live that out. That was the original kind of premise of it, precipice work.
You reported what the teachers thought and didn't report what you thought.
Thought it was fantastic. I think there is, I think the participation being that great, love that. I think the students owning their learning, presenting that was fantastic. I do think though, both for, like I referenced, that I heard back from teachers and parents, and I agree, making sure the structures are in place so teachers know how to access parents and parents know how to access teachers, because they're all in the same room. But I think there was some lack of surety or kind of uneasiness about when can I go talk to that teacher or when can I go talk to that parent. Everybody was trying to be very respectful of each other when the child's trying to present to their parents, but figure out how to bridge that gap as well. But that was great.
Great, thank you. All right, 7.3 high school report.
You guys are all doing? Okay. Reference the Gaga ball. We do have a portable pit we can bring here anytime we want to put that on. It is fit. It is fit. Yeah, so we can try it out like that. That is no problem at all. So as far as what's going on at the high school, parent teacher conferences as well. We did not do student-led conferences. We did traditional conferencing. We had 68 high school families or high school parents come in to schedule time to talk with their child's teacher. Those of you that might have gone to the Booster Bazaar this past weekend, we had the Booster go through their annual Christmas Bazaar, in both the main and auxiliary gym with Santa and the Student Center. 70 vendors were there to showcase their goods, and it was actually a pretty good event. We had performances by the band and the choir, so that was kind of a nice thing to go down and listen to that. One thing that's new this year is our breakfast of champions. And I think I talked a little bit about it, moving away from the classic student of the month and the most improved, kind of for some of the labels of some kids that don't want to be the most improved student in our class. So we tried to figure out some way that we could change that. So this year we modified the way we recognize the students for their accomplishments and positive contributions to Pleasant Hill Middle High School. This past month, staff recognized 26 students and honored them as the first annual Breakfast of the Champions. Students were selected by staff based again on learner profile quality demonstrated by the student. During breakfast, staff spoke about each student and the qualities they demonstrate. The first BOC was a success, and we're looking forward to this next one, which is Thursday, May 20th, 7:45 in the morning. So if you guys want to kind of experience that, it's going to be in the high school commons. And so if you come and you get a chance to see the students that showed up, and we had a pretty good attendance, pretty good turnout last for our first one with the students. Some parents came, but the teachers were there to talk about the students. So if you want to do that, it's going to be Thursday morning, 7:45 at our high school commons. Another kind of fun thing that we're doing is Mr. Stearns, Mr. Griffith, they launched a fun challenge for our students, and basically it's in the middle and high school PE health, middle school and high school health PE classes. What we did is kind of made an assignment for the little entrepreneurship and for them to get a chance to design something. They can go onto the Nike website, and any shoe on it is customizable. They get to design their own Billy shoe. So it has to be something that promotes something around Pleasant Hill. So at the time, that it was 266 students actually have designed a shoe, but now it's up to 299 was the last count that I heard. Which means the scoring for that's gonna be interesting. Basically, the teachers in individual classes are going to pick what they think is the winner of the class. That will come together. And then we'll kind of narrow that down, and then the student body will vote on which shoe is the best representative of the people. The winner, we will order that pair of shoes for them, so they will actually get the first rendition of, anybody else really want? So we'll get their first rendition of the shoes, so kids seem to be pretty into it, kids are coming up and trying to tell us, like, go for mine, I have the best shoe, so it's kind of fun, but anyway, that's something a little bit new that way. I don't know if anybody's gone out and looked at the softball project yet, or first project in softball, it's underway and, as of, I think it was last Friday, we went out there and they were just putting on the final, grading of the rock, trying to get everything kind of graded down to the drainage systems in, which have been great drainage systems, so we should have a very little problem, it drains right down to the bottom field, they put the drainage system in, they have a rock basin, and so I think that they're kind of ready for the next phase, but that's gonna be, it's nice to see the booster club have that project starting to come to fruition. So, by this spring, we'll be up and, moving with the turf infill for our softball team, and hopefully prevent rainouts. And we'll give them a nice facility to play at. Staying in the sports team, today was the first day of winter sports practice, so, we're kind of kicking into that phase. The nice thing for me is my first evening duty isn't until December 5th, so I have some time to take some time off, but once that gets going, winter sports are kind of a busy time, so, come out and do that, and, at the next meeting, in the December meeting, I'll kind of share with you the winter concerts, they're gonna be the week before Christmas break, on Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday is choir, Thursday is band, so those are coming out, and I'll be able to share that calendar review as it comes closer. One of the things that's fantastic is OSA puts out their all-state honors for every fall program in the state, and we had a first place winner this year. And that was, the boys soccer team claimed the #1 academic all-state title in Oregon with a combined grade point average of 3.98. Pretty amazing, it's amazing anyway. Our girls cross country team placed 7th with 3.89, and the boys cross country team 4th with 3.8. So 3 programs, in the top 10 of the state for all 3 A schools, and 1 being first place. That was really nice for us to get that. Then going into the kind of the nuts and bolts stuff, the average daily attendance, as you can kind of see going across, the freshmen went down a little bit from 94 to 91, from October to November. Sophomore stayed the same at 93%, junior stayed the same at 91%. The seniors went up a little bit, from 91 to 92%, but overall for the year, the high school is at 90%, for the average daily attendance. The one I'm still really optimistic about is our regular attenders. At this time last year, we were at 68%. They seem to be maintaining above 70% on that, regular attenders, and then one of those are kids that attend 90% of the time. So we'll keep nudging that with some of the things that we're doing at school around attendance. And then first quarter, so first quarter grades is a progress indicator, but I told you I'd bring that information to you this time. And in 9th grade, so the way I broke it down is in 9th grade, these are the number of Fs earned in individual classes. In 9th grade, we had 7 students earn 21 Fs in the first 9 weeks, and in those 2 of those students accounted for 12 of those Fs. So some students with some definitely significant challenges in passing classes those first 9 weeks. Grade 10, we had 17 students, account for 25 Fs. 11th grade, 10 for 14 Fs. We had a senior class, 5 seniors, accounted for 9 Fs. Any questions?
No, but fast on, congratulations to all those sports teams with amazing grade point averages. Well, that's crazy good.
That's crazy good.
Yeah, super cool. Good work. Any questions from anybody else? All right, thank you, Chris. 7.4 superintendent report.
Then I have you, give you a handout of this report, as you came. This is a follow-up. So in August, we met and we went over the handout that had the strategic objectives for the district. The 4 pillars and the annual goals under those pillars. At that point in time, I told you we had not finished yet with our annual measures or actions that we're going to take, essentially what we call our scorecards. And this becomes our reporting guidelines as far as when we come back versus if you go to the top of that page, there's broken out into 4 reports, essentially thinking of like a quarterly reporting structure. If you think of October 6th, that was that report, and Ms. Lovett came in, we talked about the STAR and fall assessment data. Our next one will be December 15th, and the principals are here to talk about what our mid-year progress starts to look like. We'll do another one February 23rd, and then our final one will be June 15th, will be end of year outcomes. We'll go back over the pillars or the goals. Other than just say, the first pillar there is around the academic equity and Bible curriculum. We've set annual measures in 3 different areas that have to do with our multi-tier systems of support structure. And so the expectation is that we want to reach 80% of our students' literacy needs being met with core instruction. 15% students' literacy and intervention needs being met in tier 2. And then 5% of our students being met in tier 3 measurements. If we get down into the actions, progress measures, and timelines, first action is to implement a K-3 STAR review cycles, so they're tied to literacy benchmarks. The measures will be 70% of our K-3 students on the benchmark. And then we'll track STAR benchmark outcomes against the state's legal learning charts, proficiency targets before they're into the CSS. You go and see our timelines. We're doing that December 15th, February 23rd, June 15th, the very next 3. A second action there is ensure that secondary courses have clearly articulated student-facing learning targets with quarterly progress checks and adjustments based on review findings. The measures will be a fidelity check, so monitor 8th grade math proficiency and growth using STAR assessment data, establishing as the internal on-track metric for high school readiness. And remember, the accountability bill from the state now includes 8th grade math as part of that proficiency. We still don't have a metric set for that. There's launch student targets. We're still waiting for some more information from the state before we set those. Last one is that area is to segregate outcomes for focal groups to identify achievement gaps and to guide instructional practices. The main ones for us as far as the focal groups that stand out as far as having enough students is readiness that is our SPED student population, ELL, and then low-income and foster students. And the measures are to assure a gap closure to a good level of efficiency for those focal groups and percent focal groups student existing. So we don't really have a number there, and so that's really a live number as far as taking a snapshot in time, and by the end of the school year, make sure that we are closing the gap for those students who are student achieving. Pillar 2 is around student well-being and emotional support. 4 annual measures, so regular attenders, and these are regular attenders. Just a reminder, that's one of our longitudinal targets as well. So at least 78% of our students attending school 90% of the time. By the end of the school year, a minimum of 95% of 612 students. So we start with that. By the end of the school year, a minimum of 95% of our 612 students will identify through the climate survey that they have at least one trusted adult at school. By the end of the school year, a minimum of 80% of our students participating in at least one club, sports, or hands-on learning activity. And then by the end of the school year, have a minimum of 90% of our students reporting feeling emotionally and physically safe at school. And again, that's part of that culture of the climate survey that we provide. And through the actions of our progress measures, first bullet is to increase access to mental health services by ensuring that all students' referrals for academic and behavior support are tracked through internal tracking systems with quarterly reviews at administrative meetings and updates provided to the school board. Second bullet is the strengthening, it's going to be your third bullet down, strengthening school climate and social emotional learning by delivering regular social emotional learning lessons and monitoring progress through annual student, staff, family surveys. Next page, reducing exclusionary discipline incidences, so which are suspension and expulsions. So looking at the segregated data by subgroup and then ensuring that students with progress monitoring plans show measurable improvement in academic and behavioral outcomes. Under our third pillar, which is the data-driven decision-making. Our measures, 100% of our school maintain data team meetings with submitted agendas, minutes, and artifacts. 85% of the licensed staff report using student data to plan differentiating instruction. 100% of our school will submit and review dashboards at the monthly data team and show you meetings. And then our scorecard to be developed by October 2025, and then updated quarterly. The actions on that ensure that 100% of our schools maintain fully operational data teams that meet monthly, submit agendas and artifacts, and engage in cycles of improvement. Provide training so that all educators build data literacy and use evidence to guide instruction. And in progress, we quarterly administrative meetings and report to the board 3 times a year. Next bullet, use our multi-tier systems of support tools and instructional coaching to ensure that students with academic or behavioral support plans demonstrate measurable improvement, and that at least 85% of staff report using student data to plan differentiated instruction. Progress will be monitored monthly by data teams and tracked through surveys and coaching logs. Next measure down, 90% of students will progress monitoring plans showing improved academic and behavior outcomes. 85% of staff reporting use of data to differentiate instruction, and then greater than 95% of ninth grade students on track to graduate by the end of the 25-26 school year. Remember, the ninth grade on track is also due to our longitudinal targets. At least 29% of our 8th grade students, math students on track is measured using STAR assessment. And then STAR benchmark outcomes will be tracked again using math efficiency targets for 8th grade.
Jim,
Yeah,
is there a reason why we're just sticking with the state average? Seems low,
we've,
like a little bar.
it is, we started with the at a glance, which has got the actual color graph on from the state, has not been released. That's usually sometime during this month in November. So I imagine it'll be available for December. We have grown in that area. But if I remember back, I think the first time we looked at it 2 years ago, we were at 15 or 18%. And so we are below the state average in doing that. We can definitely set it higher. But it's acceptable.
I was just curious.
It's an achievable range right now. Yeah. We've got some math work going on at the middle school. So we'll help us through that. Stephanie's also working the instructional coach. Some instruction methods that we utilize in the start data to inform our instruction. That's the biggest reason we've got a lot of work to do.
So not so low for this, for our district.
Yeah. State average is, I think it's 6% grade 3 math. And it could actually maybe the 29 of this is getting. Next one is about implementing the district-wide reporting system that includes monthly school dashboards on attendance, behavior, and academic growth, along with the district data scorecard. That's aligned to our outcomes, and then data trends will be reviewed at monthly data team and administrative meetings with highlights, sharing with growth meetings 3 times a year. We currently utilize a system or in data suite as far as our dashboards, and so we track these dashboards available. Some of that's where you get the attendance data from that dashboard. There's now expanding that dashboard out to include other measures. So additional measures, the monthly dashboard updates at school level, attendance, behavior, and academic growth, and then development and implementation of the district data score are aligned with the outcomes. Greater than or equal to 89.5 of students meeting 4-year graduation metric for the 2026 school year. And if you remember the way that we figured this data around the 4-year and the 5-year, if you remember, those are also part of our longitude, is when we get the data back for this school year, we will not be looking at 24-25 graduation rates. It'll be the 23-24. So we're always really behind the graduation rate data. Those metrics, though, are the metrics that we originally set with the longitude. That was really strong. And then the fourth pillar has to be do with the future ready, and this kind of encompasses a lot of the learner profile. So the annual measures, walkthrough and coaching data will show a 25% increase in student-centered practices tied to learner profile attributes and student-centered principles. A self-assessment survey, students rate themselves in punctuality, honesty, effective communication. 1% of students in grades 5 through 12 complete at least one self-reflection along with responsibility and integrity standards. And then coaching and PLC artifacts will show that 80% of grade level teams are planning with learner attributes in mind by May of 2026. So our actions provide teacher training and coaching to embed student-centered principles into lesson planning and implementation, ensuring alignment with the profile. Teachers will receive training on the application of student-centered principles in conjunction with learner profile attributes. Administer student self-assessment survey, implement quarterly student self-assessment survey on thinking critically, communicating effectively, and demonstrating character, and use the results to inform classroom practice and grade level planning. And then make data available each quarter at the classroom and grade level. Integrate learner profile attributes, so ensure that all staff integrate authentic opportunities for students to demonstrate learner profile attributes. Those attributes should all think critically, communicate effectively, and demonstrate character by embedding them in planning tools, instructional design, and coaching cycles. Students will work collaboratively, to collaborate with the expectations. The SHARP student work will be collaborative to collaborate with expectations. Next bullet. Professional development sessions will guide staff in embedded learner profile attributes and student-centered principles into the lesson design and planning tools, and instructional coaching cycles will include collaborative review of student work to calibrate expectations for demonstrating learner profile attributes, and planning and observation tools to emphasize flexible learning tasks that require students to think critically, communicate effectively, and demonstrate character. Embed responsibility and integrity to feedback and reflection systems. So strengthening student responsibility and integrity by incorporating goal setting, personal progress tracking, digital citizenship, and plagiarism prevention, including responsible AI use, the advisory and the ELA curriculum. And in the measures, the systems will emphasize goal setting, personal progress tracking, and secondary schools will include discussions on digital citizenship and plagiarism prevention as part of the advisory or the ELA curriculum. So a lot of options that are going on. I think it's important to know when we do this, we often focus on the end result or that outcome. You kind of taking a sports analogy is sometimes we don't really focus or try not to focus on it solely, but we focus on what are the improvements that we need to make, what are the actions that will have the outcome in. So that's really the attempt is really putting the scorecard together is focus on those actions regularly in the building level, and we probably should have taken them in the meetings and we hope the board follows it.
I have two questions. There was in here a couple of times, the track to star benchmark outcomes against the state. I don't know,
Yes.
is that,
So the STAR has an algorithm that allows us to determine if the student's doing X on the STAR assessment, if they correlate that to mean that they will do X on the post assessment. So they make a determination that they're meeting benchmark standards on STAR will be pass this.
and then on the pillar 3. We have 100%, 85. Using the data to 10, how do we write it in 85?
Not all of our staff in their classes right now are set up to use, for instance, the data system. And so we figure about 85% of our staff would have access to STAR, but we have some of our staff that, like our shop classes, doesn't use STAR, any classes don't use STAR. So not that we won't ever use data in those or assessments, see about training or taking place. So
That makes sense.
Any other questions?
Sorry, what did you say the first? I know that the process is important, so it's the outcome.
Yeah.
This is something that happens to me. When's that first outcome, did you say, next meeting?
So the December 15th meeting is when the last principals to come, and we will actually go over this at our next leadership meeting on the 20th, we'll start to put this together. And we'll see what we have available for those start meetings, so it's gonna be December 15th, that we'll start bringing this information back to you guys. Yeah, yeah. And it will understand, this first time we've done it, putting this together was messy. I think the first meeting will be messy as well, especially what it looks like actually putting into action between the board and going employee.
Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
That's the final piece, I think, as far as this and make that learning visible and professional development visible for you guys. Obviously, the accountability is coming to us when we move on in the state and some of it's just getting back with the gardens and making it obviously visible. That's what we're doing.
Sounds good, thank you. 8.0, board communication. I'll do a report back and a little bit of on this and you guys want to share it too, but really good, learned a lot with the stuff. I think the biggest takeaway for me was the position that Pleasant Hill School District is in comparison to a lot of other districts around us, even the bigger districts and other rural districts. Whether that's the programs we offer, the services we provide, the financial position we're in. Like almost every other district I talk to, their board members or superintendents. They're like, oh, we're having to close entire schools, lay off staff, close programs. And I'm not saying that will never happen here, but I hope it never does, but over the last 20, 40 years has led us to this point for superintendents and boards and stewarding the district. And it puts us in a great spot for the current member at least to move forward from, so. I don't know what you guys think.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yeah.
She just got out of anything.
Yeah, so. Kudos.
I agree, but there was a lot of dire conversations in regards to just the overall feeling of schools across the state that the economic shortfall is gonna be pretty significant for the most part, and for us to be in a position financially, especially to weather that for now, I think is huge. Like Drew said, the stewardship of past boards, looking at John over here, really making that a priority is fiscal responsibility and kind of maintaining that healthy and fund balance, is the reason we're here. And also, we do have a great financial officer. And that's the third time I've been, and I feel like this was the most beneficial, most meaningful. I guess maybe I just went to better workshops, I don't know, but like, now in my 7th year doing this, no, it's must be more than that. But, still learning, yeah. It's very meaningful. And that.
My big takeaways were, I mean, I'm still very new and I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose when I do these things. But my big takeaway was on the legislative side of there is so much that happens in the state capitol that it's not flexible when it even comes out to ODE, let alone trickles down to us. And I was in a group of people talking about this new accountability bill, and this guy in the back just kept asking question after question, and why, and who do I talk to, and who do I write to, and most other people in the room knew that this was voted into law in 24, and so ship has sailed on that one, but just moving forward, I need to pay more attention to what is still being debated in the legislature and maybe being a little more proactive on some of that stuff. That is nowhere in my area of interest, but it does seem very, very necessary.
Sure. Yeah, sustained engagement along those lines is really important, not waiting until all of a sudden something happens you don't like.
And getting to know our local reps.
Sure. Alright. 9.0 other business. Alright, next meeting is December 3rd. At the high school student center.
Yeah, the board works session will be able to send.
Okay. Sounds good. And then we'll have a regular board meeting on December 15th here.